Welcome to Curiousaholic. My name is Haiko. I'm here with my buddy Evan.
Hey, Earthlings.
So, before we get into today's topic, here is a quick rundown of how the podcast works. So, in each episode, one of us comes up with an interesting topic that they are curious about and reveals it live to the other person in the hopes to spark a deep discussion and further our knowledge of the world around us.
Thank you for that introduction and that rundown of the podcast.
You're welcome. I will always do it so you don't forget. So, yeah, Evan, look at around us. It's
decorated and
all
pretty.
It's very pretty and jolly because it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere you go.
So that's a good way to introduce music into our podcast.
Yeah, definitely. There you go. So maybe sometimes you should sing too.
Oh yeah, with my raspy voice.
It's okay. I won't judge, you know. I love music. I love singing, so
Yeah,
it's
my inner beauty.
Inner beauty. But yeah, anyways, as you can tell, we are right into the holidays. We got some decoration going on. But today's episode won't be specifically about that. It'll be about another topic that is, related to happiness. So nothing dark today or dramatic or mysterious, because we always love to go into topics that are more,
Yeah,
darker in theme.
always dark and always mysterious and difficult to understand a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Always questioning it, and yeah. But this one is, going to be a change of pace. But
A good idea.
before we reveal the topic, obviously a little teaser, but this time the teaser will be in a form of a question. All right.
Okay, let's see.
So first question, what are some rules you live your life by? So if you had to narrow it down, really just the basic rules that you live your life by, what would they be?
Okay, I feel like I kind of know where you're going with this.
Oh, okay. Let's see if you can guess the topic.
Okay. Well, for me, I'm going to use a personal example of something that recently happened in my life, and I'll kind of use that scenario to give an answer to this question.
Okay.
So recently, I decided to leave the current job I'm at, and I decided to, focus on things that really matter rather than, focusing on, making money and doing something that's not necessarily fulfilling for myself. So I think that's a rule that I would live by. So do something that makes you fulfilled rather than do something that you feel obligated to do.
Okay. That's a good rule to live by. Yeah.
That's my new rule.
That's your new rule.
My New Year's resolution.
That's good, man.
It's not really a resolution, but it's kind of a good thought to have going into the new year, I would say.
That's good. Yeah. That's like a new chapter, a new beginning for you now.
Yeah.
Starting the new year. Okay. What other rule would you have in a more broader sense as well,
Okay. In a broader sense.
That you generally live by. This is something you just realized about yourself, to do something that fulfills you. But what are the rules you live by? Every day, you kind of remind yourself, you got to stick by this. That helps you,
Yeah, I guess, staying healthy and shape. That's always something I live by.
Okay.
What else? I see him smiling. That means I'm onto something, I guess. Maybe not.
Just, I'm just waiting for you to.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess staying healthy is one thing I live by.
Okay. Maybe you do not yet have per se predefined rules. What you're going for in life, what's beneficial to your health or well-being, but you don't have something that you can always bring back in your mind. Okay, this is a rule that I need to follow. Per se.
Discipline equals freedom.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Yeah. That's a Jocko quote.
Yeah, that's Jocko. Good. So
that's a rule.
That's a good rule. Okay. All right, okay. I won't,
You're going to make me guess forever.
Yeah, too long.
I thought I was onto something, but maybe not. I don't know.
Okay. I mean, can you guess the topic before I reveal it, or?
I don't know. Rules to live by.
Rules to live by. Yeah, you're close. But anyway, so I'll reveal the topic of today. So today what we are going to talk about let me grab something, is
Oh,
about this book.
the four agreements. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so we're going to be looking at the content of the book.
Yes,
Ah,
exactly.
interesting. I like that.
So this is the book that I'm holding, as you see. It's The Four Agreements by
Okay.
Don Miguel Ruiz, a book that I've read many, many years ago, and that I would say was a pretty influential book. Just in general on how I live my life and kind of how I carry myself. And I just thought, it'd be a great book to discuss.
That's a really good idea. I've always wanted to do one of these episodes where we kind of, look at some, piece of art or a book even and discuss
like
its
a
content.
literary
Yeah.
work and discuss it. Yeah. And I just thought, it's like a easy topic, the four agreements.
Yeah, it's funny that I mentioned Jocko right before that because on his podcast he does that all the time. He opens a book and he reads.
And he reads it during the yeah. Okay, I won't I won't read a
No,
whole
that's okay. It's
passage, but I just thought of talking about this book because it was so influential for me back in the day, and the four agreements basically are like these four rules that he describes. They're very simple, they're very broad, but they can help you, alleviate suffering in your life. So we're gonna delve into them one by one, and
It's a good topic. I like it.
talk about it. Yep. So before we do, let's do a little introduction of the author.
Oh wait. Maybe you could read us the back of the book, like the.
Oh, you want me to read the
preface.
back of the
Yeah.
book?
Let's just to give us a
Oh yeah, sure. Like a little.
a little preface.
Okay, sure. So here on the book it says, in the Four Agreements, Don Miguel Ruiz, who is the author, reveals the source of self-limiting beliefs that rob us of joy and create needless suffering. Based on ancient Toltec wisdom, the Four Agreements offer a powerful code of conduct that can rapidly transform our lives to a new experience of freedom, true happiness, and love. So it's a very simple description. Yeah, afterwards you have like reviews, generally they put like reviews of other people who've read the
Best-selling book.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Or like, I read this book and it's amazing, you have to read it.
Good. Sounds interesting.
It's a very simple book. Like when you read it, it's anybody can understand it, but it's very powerful. But anyways, to introduce, Don Miguel Ruiz. So he is a Mexican author who teaches Toltec spirituality and neo-shamanism texts. He has written many books on the Toltec wisdom. So what is this wisdom? It comes from the ancient Toltec civilization that lived through the years 900 to 1500 in Mesoamerica, which is basically Central America
Yeah.
now. Like Mexico, El Salvador,
Peru,
Guatemala.
maybe. Could that be?
No. Costa Rica, Honduras. Peru, I think, is in South America.
Okay, so you said it's North America or
No,
Central?
Central. So
okay.
it's like Mexico, El Salvador,
Okay.
right
okay.
before South America.
Okay, got it.
So they lived in those regions. They have a Latin descent. And so he, was inspired by that old ancient wisdom, and he wanted to share like these four agreements that you can live your life by. So we're going to delve into them one by one.
Awesome.
All right, so the first agreement, what it says, be impeccable with your word. Right. So what does he mean by that? So the word impeccable, first, it comes from Latin, which means without sin.
Okay.
So I think peccable is the part meaning sin, meaning without, so without sin. So what he says is that, when you speak, always speak the truth, always speak what you really want to say. Don't speak to say something bad or negative, just to, put others down, or without knowing what you're talking about, just to kind of spew, poison. He always uses that word, to spew poison. He tells us to speak what is true to us, and that has no judgment towards ourselves or to others. When you also speak, you sometimes speak to yourself, saying like, oh, I'm such an idiot, I'm such a, bad person. Be kind to yourself as well, because you're not saying the truth when you're saying I'm bad, because it's just a projection you have of your own self.
Yeah, it's like a false reality that we constantly put on ourselves. I'm guilty of that.
True, true. That's a good way to put it. He talks about that as saying we all have the mitote. He uses that word, saying it means we have a fog in our mind where we can't really see reality. We're always constantly, surrounded by fear, self-judgment, victimhood. We always have like this big judge that constantly, blames us for what we do, and we're always wrong for everything that we do. So he says, yeah, we should only say what we mean, have integrity and responsibility in our word. And he says misusing our word is like using black magic.
Okay.
Remember, I also mentioned that to you once, that I don't want to, do black magic, as in, talk behind people's back a lot or say things that I don't want to change your perception.
Yeah.
Because like that, you're basically poisoning other people. As much as you don't notice, you're basically like casting a spell on someone just with your words. So he gave an example, like you go to school, it's the first day of class, you're excited to start this class, but another kid passes, he says, hey, watch out, this teacher, he's a perv and he's an asshole and you don't want to deal with him. And you're like, really? Oh, okay. I didn't know that. And then you go into the class and you're like, you know what? I don't want to think of that. But you still do. In the back of your mind, he planted the seed of this teacher being this way. And you perceive him that way, even if you don't want to.
Yeah, it gives you it just gives you a bad impression, and it taints the image of that person, right?
Yeah.
Just because of what someone else said. But in reality, might not be super accurate. It could just be his own impression, or it could be a very little situation that happened that maybe, gave him that impression, but in reality, it wasn't a big deal. And it's just how he perceived it, right?
Yeah.
And then he's telling everyone, this guy is a bad person because of X, Y, or Z, right? And sometimes it's irrelevant completely.
Yeah, because I don't know what he perceived, how he perceived, in what circumstances, and is he projecting his own fears on that person? Is he an asshole and he thinks the teacher is one?
Or he's insecure.
Yeah, I mean, nowadays so many people are insecure and fearful. I mean, yeah, okay, they're saying that, but that doesn't mean it's the truth.
Exactly.
He says, everyone lives with their own dream of reality. He says we are always dreaming 24/7. He says we're not only dreaming at night, we're dreaming when we're awake, because the way you perceive the world is a dream. It's not a reality. You're like an artist, you're painting, you're saying, oh, this guy's an evil person, this guy's a good person. He says, you could call me good, you could call me bad, I don't care, he says, because I know my true self. I love myself no matter what you think of me. He says, if you tell me I'm good, okay, doesn't matter. He says, I don't care if you tell me I'm good.
It's your own perception.
It's still your own perception. That's what he tries to say.
It just reminded me of the time we went deep into the meaning of dreams.
That episode, yeah.
Yeah. And that was fun. Everything, but this guy's saying that everything is a dream.
Everything is a dream, yeah.
But
in a more,
he's
metaphorical sense.
I know what he means. Yeah, exactly. In a metaphorical sense, it's basically just based on perception, right? It's like,
but if you think about it, our dreams at night, it's our perception, but gone wild.
Yeah, it's kind of that. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's why we were in that episode. I was like, how could we tell we're not dreaming now?
Yeah, we're just in a constant dream and we can't get out of it somehow.
Somehow, yeah. We're in the Matrix.
Oh no.
Oh no.
The Matrix again.
Again, yeah. Man, everything ties back.
Yeah, that's why. It's because our podcast is, we have similar themes that come back, and often we find ways to tie them together.
Yeah. Because it's just about the human condition, at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's what we strive for, right? It's just kind of like, self-improvement. This is obviously kind of like a self-improvement topic.
Yeah.
So obviously we're going to find links to our old material as well. So
exactly. Yep. So, so this agreement alone, I think is a really powerful one. And, I try to stick by it as much as I can. But he says, you're always going to fail, but you have to try to, keep reminding yourself. That's why knowing, like, okay, be impeccable with your word, it reminds you, okay, I need to stick by this. Right?
Yeah.
You might know what is good, what is bad, but having a set rule kind of can remind you
to
not fail.
Interesting.
So moving on, the second rule is.
Wait, sorry, can you just go back a second?
Oh yeah. Yeah, sure. If you have something to add.
So I on your slide here, you put a picture of Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
And I guess you put his picture just because he was true to his word, right? Is that why you put his picture?
It's kind of a representation of, being impeccable with his word, talking about the truth and
Free of sin.
Free of sin,
Yeah.
Trying to help people rise and find their true self and demand respect and
Yeah, exactly.
dignity for people. Yeah. So I thought it was an appropriate picture.
Good.
All right, moving on. So the second agreement is don't take anything personally. Okay.
That's very difficult.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. This one is a really, really tough one, okay? But he says, right, taking things personally, he says, is the most selfish thing you can do. Why? Because you give yourself personal importance and think that everything is about you.
It's true though. It's difficult to put yourself away from a situation. It's always like about you, kind of like, why did this person say this or that?
Am I bad?
And again, that's impression. It doesn't matter. And somehow we made it about ourselves, right? But it's just that person's impression. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And somehow it always comes back to making it about us.
That's why he says it's one of the most selfish things you can do, because you're thinking it's always about you. It's always about you. But it's understandable because someone is saying you're bad, Me? What?
Yeah, exactly.
So obviously we take it personally at first. But is it about us really? Or is it about their perception?
And it's funny because this how does he call this again? Rule?
The agreement.
Okay. Yeah, so this agreement kind of ties into the first one, right? So let's say someone tells you, hey, you're a bad person or you suck or something, right?
Yeah.
Well, okay, the first thing you need to do is not take it personally. And then you ask yourself, why shouldn't I take it personally? Oh, because it's his impression. It doesn't matter.
True.
So it's kind of like they kind of correlate to each other.
Yeah, all these agreements do have like a link that they
so there is a link
they follow, yes. But yeah, so taking things personally is a selfish thing that you do. What others do or say is their own projection, like we said. We don't need to have someone tell us that we're good or bad. We know our worth. Everyone is simply just expressing their own personal dream. So again, he talks about, he's in his dream, In his dream, you're the evil person. He's the good person. But does that really mean you're the evil person?
Not necessarily. Yeah. Again, that's his projection or impression.
Exactly. And one of the most extreme examples he gives of this, okay, which I don't think I could ever reach, really, realistically, I don't think anyone could, but this is a tough one. He says, even if someone puts a gun to your head and shoots you, you do not take that personally.
Okay, that's a bit extreme.
That is very extreme, yeah, I know. But he says it's even to that point where someone hurting you is, I know it's hard to like grasp that, but he says they're so stuck in their own hell, in their own, nightmare, really.
Or
it's
misery.
Not even, misery, that they take it out on you, through violence. Yeah, obviously, like, let's say you survive that, you're not gonna be like, oh, okay, it's okay, man, I get it, you're gonna have anger, you're gonna have really, frustration, you're gonna want justice, that person to serve something or to be sentenced for something, yes, but he's trying to, like, make you realize don't take it personally, even to that extreme. I know it's hard, but even for simple things, someone says F you, already you're like,
Yeah. Well, I think he's maybe using that extreme example just to, calm you down when, like less meaningful things happen. Like,
maybe
you know what I mean? Like, just to make you understand the idea of like his principle, as in like, if someone does put a gun to your head and hurts you, okay, don't take it personally, just so that, when someone actually tells you to fuck off, or sorry to the bad word, but then you won't take it personally.
Yeah, where he says that you shouldn't even take someone shooting you personally.
Yeah.
Then what is a stupid
word?
Insult?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think people could be like, yeah, man, I don't care then. People can tell me whatever.
Exactly. It's almost making yourself immune,
Yeah.
I think that's his goal.
Because also the thing where he says, yeah, someone puts a gun to your head, shoots you. I mean, how could you even take it personally? You'll be dead, most probably.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I think it's just kind of like an exaggeration to make you realize that
The other things
are so meaningless and trivial that you shouldn't take them personally.
I think you're right. I think maybe that's what his
I think
intention
that's
is.
what his aim was.
True. So yeah, this is a tough one to follow, but if you can, it can be very liberating because yeah, people can again like cast a spell on you, like shoot their poison at you and just make you feel miserable because you took it personally.
Yeah, and I think another way to maybe put this his claim here, like don't take anything personally, it could also be like don't get emotional too much.
Yeah, it ties into that.
Yeah, because I'm guilty of that. Everyone is,
yeah.
right? And I think if you can control your emotions in like difficult situations and be like objective, then you have an easier time communicating with people and getting yourself out of trouble or problems or whatever.
You'd be more level-headed and more reasonable in your thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, because emotional behavior doesn't really result in
Exactly.
good things happening. So yeah, that ties into it. If you don't take it personally, you won't become emotional and you'll be more straight in your thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so moving on to the third one now. Okay, so this one, don't make assumptions. Right. Don't we all make assumptions?
Everyone.
All the time, constantly. Our whole conversations are always about making, this, that, or you heard
This
about.
whole podcast is making assumptions.
Yeah, well, we're trying to answer questions. I mean, we're not like assuming as in, I know this to be truth or fact.
No, I know. I'm joking.
Yeah.
So you took it personally.
Oh, damn.
I got you.
You got me. Don't take anything personal. Gotta remind myself. But you see, that was kind of like, I got a bit.
I tricked you.
God damn it, man. Not on my own topic here. Trying to be a role model. But anyways, yeah, so this one, don't make assumptions. So he says by making assumptions, we create needless suffering for ourselves because we basically believe our assumptions as being true. And I know a lot of times, like my parents or my other friends, they say something, they're like, man, I think this person is doing that. And I'm like, are you sure they're doing that? They're like, yeah, I'm sure. Really? You don't know. You're just assuming.
Exactly.
And this one I really hate, and me too, I try to like avoid it as much because I find assuming just creates stupidities and needless suffering.
Yeah, it's kind of like spreading rumors,
Yeah.
which is something else we discussed once.
Okay, well, yeah, that's what I'm going to mention next is he, according to him, like gossiping is pure poison. It's just pure, like, not good at all because gossiping is essentially assumptions, really. I know in the gossip episode we were like saying, yeah, maybe sometimes it could be beneficial to quote unquote gossip more as a warning.
Yeah, like to be prepared. I remember we said that.
Yes, where we're like, we're warning people like, listen, there are certain things like this you shouldn't do or be aware. But I guess it's a fine line, which I agree. Gossiping in general, it's not very helpful because it creates a false reality in our mind and it just stresses us further because when this reality becomes false, we're like, what? I thought it was real. I thought this person was like that. Or
yeah, you panic for nothing almost, or you believe the lie. You took the bait, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what example I could give. Like let's say.
Yeah, so many examples.
I mean, yeah, let's say like you're hanging out and you're missing your phone and then your other friend's like, yeah, man, I think that other guy took your phone. And you're like, really? Did you see him? And he's like, no, but I saw him pass behind you at one point and I think he took it. And then you're like starting to believe
and then
this.
You run behind him and you tackle him.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude, give me my phone. And he's like, what phone, man?
Yeah. I don't have your phone.
What phone?
Yeah. And then it turns out you dropped it in the bathroom or something like that.
Yeah.
And then you just feel stupid.
Or you forgot it at home or something.
Or, yeah, any other situation. Or somebody else took it, let's say. But you're blaming this innocent person Because you
Because
assumed.
you assumed, and you took it personally too.
Yeah, so you did two
Yeah, two
two bad things.
and you sinned.
And you sinned. Oh my goodness, yeah.
See, it all ties in.
You sinned 3 times, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically he says, don't assume. He says just ask questions. When you don't know something, just ask around. There's nothing wrong in asking and questioning, but do not assume. And this one I try to, as much as I can, stick by, because I have found that assuming just is dumb and it creates, stupid situations. So no assumptions. That means being impeccable with your word, and equals no poison being spread.
But I think also this kind of it implies yourself as well. Like so sometimes you could assume with like other people, right? Oh, like this guy took my phone.
Yeah.
But I feel like this also ties into yourself, where like you could always assume the worst and like the worst possible outcome situation.
Yes.
And then you're like overthinking, kind of like I do, Like I do that. I'm guilty of that. Like I always overthink about like a situation and a catastrophe and the worst possible outcome. But if I had my emotions in check, see, it's like really everything ties in here. And if I was, calmer and, I would think a little bit more rationally, then I wouldn't make all these assumptions. And then at the end of the day, I would have said, oh, there was no point worrying or anything.
Yeah.
Because, if I hadn't assumed in the first place, then there would have been nothing to worry about. Right?
Exactly. But yeah, you just simply do not assume what's going to happen, or,
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously some people have like premonition or intuition, or can kind of feel like something is off. I understand that, but still, give the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, but like the author was saying, it's fine to, ask around and educate yourself. If you are worried about something, maybe you have a reason to be worried, but just don't overthink it. Just, do what you need to do to, calm yourself down and get an answer, rather than overthinking and assuming possible outcomes that might not even be true, right? So
yeah, just question it instead of thinking what the truth is.
Question and then get answers, rather than, question and leaving it empty and just question again.
Just question again. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so this one too, really powerful one if people could follow. And then the last one is kind of one to just tie all the other 3 ones. Just simply always do your best. I know it sounds a bit cliche. Yeah, just do your best, man. But what does he mean? Okay, so this one ties the other ones together, right? You do your best by being impeccable, not taking anything personally, not making assumptions. But he says doing your best differs day to day, hour by hour. Okay, so you shouldn't judge yourself again. Oh, in the morning you were able to do a lot, and then at night you couldn't do, the best that you could. Let's say, well, you did the best that you could at that period of time.
Yeah, you're not peaked. Like you're not.
Yes. You're tired at night versus in the morning, right? You're doing the best that you could at night versus in the morning. That's it.
Yeah.
So do not compare, first of all, your best from the morning, let's say, to your best at night. Okay.
Yeah.
Because some people might, again, judge themselves saying, man, in the morning I could, study for 3 hours, but not at night. Yeah, but
I'm always at my best at night.
Yeah, okay. So you're the opposite.
You just didn't get my joke.
Oh. Wait, is it?
Next.
That's a bit sus. Oh, dear. Anyways, moving on from the pun. So by doing your best at any given time, he says that you have nothing to judge yourself for and feel bad. Right? If you always just do your best, why would you judge yourself? Really?
Yeah, it's true. Exactly.
Like, just simply.
Yeah. And okay, I know I'm making this about myself again, and I'm making this personal.
Okay.
But I don't know. It's just because it kind of relates to something I'm going through right now.
Yeah.
Like quitting my job felt like it was a quitter thing to do. Like just, I let everything go. But
no,
is that really like the worst possible thing I could have done, or is that actually doing my best? Right? It's like I quit my job to get something better, right, for my own self, then, was that a bad move? I actually did my best, I think, right? I mean,
Well, I could even say you did your best throughout your job.
exactly.
Like you always did your best, and quitting isn't like, oh, you're failing this, but no, you're
No.
doing the best for yourself and
Yeah.
what is best for you.
It was an experience, and I think you kind of, I know it's cliche to say, just like don't be sad that it's over, but just kind of happy that it happened.
Yeah.
And you kind of learn from that and you move on, and yeah, you did your best throughout the job. Now you left. Okay, time to find something better, and you'll do your best at that, whatever you do next, right? So,
Yeah. So day to day, basically, you're doing the best that you can
at that moment.
at that moment.
Exactly.
And you can't kill yourself. Someone says, "Why did you quit?" Well, that's what happened. I did my best,
Yeah.
and it didn't work out for me, so I'm quitting.
Exactly.
That's how you need. That's how people need to see. Like you're not quitting because you don't want to do anything. You're lazy or
No.
you're this or that. That's what's beneficial for you and
At that moment,
At
right?
that moment.
Yeah.
So-
A year ago, right? If I go back,
yeah.
everything I was doing was looking for a job, and I was doing my best at finding a job, and then I found a job thinking, oh, that's the best possible outcome, and then a year later, here we are, right? Kind of like
Out of it.
out of it. So you do your best at the very moment that you're in. You always strive to be the best person you could be. And then sometimes,
If
your
it
path
fails.
is going to change. Like it's not going to be, consistent. You're going to be, like you said, you're going to be better at certain points in your life compared to other points in your life.
Exactly. And if you fail doing your best at something, then that's not a bad thing because you did your best.
Yeah. Like what
It's
else
like
do you want to do?
It's like, think of it like this. Let's say I don't know, you're playing basketball and you do your best to shoot and, score, but you don't. Are you going to say, oh, bad? No,
no, you get back up and you try again, or
because you did your best. So it's the
mean,
same thing
yeah.
as your job. It's like throwing your ball, you're doing your work, but it didn't work out.
Well, okay, and here's another example that actually ties into basketball. Okay, let's say every day you're practicing basketball.
Yeah.
You're getting really good at basketball. Then you're like, I'm gonna make the NBA one day. And then you get, I don't know how this works, but like you try to get drafted to the NBA, but then you don't get drafted because you're not tall enough, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you still did your best,
Yeah,
but
you
the reason
tried.
why it didn't work out is because of something physical
Out of your control.
out of your control. So you still did your best, but it just didn't work out. So fucking move on and do something else, right?
Something where you can keep growing and keep going.
Exactly. You're
It's
not
like-
gonna kill yourself because you didn't make the NBA.
It's like hitting a wall. Let's say you're walking and you come to a wall. You're like, oh, God damn it. And then you keep walking into the wall and walking into the wall.
You're
and
not gonna
like,
do that until you grow an inch or two, to make the NBA. This doesn't make
go
sense.
over the wall. Yeah. But if you have a wall, then just turn around and find another path.
Exactly. And that's kind of what happened with me. Like, okay, I thought it was gonna be a good job. I was happy for a while, and then I hit a wall, and then
And you
here I
change
am.
path.
Change path. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. By not doing your best would be to stand still and not even move.
And accept the situation.
Yes.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. By not doing your best is like not even trying. Really, at the moment you try is already better than not trying.
Exactly.
So when you try and try and try and try and then you hit a wall, okay, that could be the end of it. You did your best. Boom. Chapter closed. Next,
Yeah.
like that. So that's what he says. He says, if your mindset, he says, going into everything you do involves doing the best that you can, then why would you blame yourself for anything, really?
Exactly.
You wouldn't.
You have no point in blaming yourself
Yeah.
if you do your best every day.
But that's the thing. It's like I think people need to realize what that means, like what it means, because they're always so hard on themselves. They're like, no, I could have done more or been more productive or done more working out or doing whatever, like in anything. Let's say you want to work out. Let's say this new year, everyone's classic New Year resolution. I'm going to exercise more. Okay, just do 10 minutes a day, let's say. That's the best you can do.
Yeah.
Don't see, I need to do 2 hours of working out every day and run like crazy. No, obviously you're going to fail and then you're going to feel like shit.
Yeah. It's like those. It's like David Goggins when he was fat, 240 pounds, whatever, 300 pounds. He couldn't even run a mile.
Yeah.
and then he lost all that, and then he ran that 1 mile. That was the best thing he could do that day. And then fast forward a couple years later, he's running 240 miles.
And that's the best he can do.
That's the best he can do on that day. But 10 years back, you could only do one.
Yeah, well, that's a kind of good example where it makes me think like, yeah, it's, let's say you take someone who's really obese and then you tell them, yeah, run 10 miles today. That's pretty unrealistic.
Exactly.
And if they don't, are you going to blame them? Are they bad for not doing? No, they did their best. They maybe ran 200 meters. That's even a lot for
yeah. Some people, they can't even walk up the stairs.
Yeah, right. So that's why he says it differs from day to day, year to year, just however you feel.
Yeah, and that's kind of, I don't know, it's just like a tangent, but that's kind of like why I like working out so much. It's just because it's such a visual representation of progress.
Yeah.
Like today, my best is this lift with this much weight. Tomorrow, it's this lift with this much weight. So it's like
it's quantifiable.
Yeah, it's like a visual, and quantifiable way of measuring progress. So yeah, that's just an aside, but
yeah, the working out and like exercising and like lifting weights can be a sort of metaphor, in general. Did you lift this much today? Good. Okay, next day try to do.
Yeah, and if you can't, well, whatever.
It's okay. Yeah.
You did what you can today.
You did your best.
Honestly, kind of like what happened to me today. So
yeah, benching and
no, I tried deadlifting like a huge number today. My best. I didn't do it. It failed again.
It failed again. So try again next time.
Whatever.
And
try
see
again
what
next
happens.
time. That's how it is,
But you don't feel bad. You don't blame yourself that you failed.
No, like I don't really care. It's just there's so many factors, especially when it comes to working out. It could be like, oh, today, I was tired. It could be, oh, yesterday, I didn't sleep enough. It could be anything.
Well.
Didn't recover well, or I was stressed. Which,
especially at those higher weights, even every little thing counts. Yeah.
Whatever. That's an aside, but it's still kind of it still kind of relates to this.
Yeah, it's a metaphor, in terms of doing your best. But anyway, so to wrap things up, closing thoughts, a couple of questions to end it. So if you had to pick one agreement out of all four to follow, which one would you pick?
To follow.
If there was one agreement that is the most powerful in your opinion, that could help the most someone.
I think don't take things personally was the most impactful one for me.
For you? Okay. Yeah. Why is that?
Just because I take things personally sometimes. So.
Okay. Sometimes or a lot or...
Well, it depends on which context. For me, it's not really what people think of me. It's more I put a lot of pressure on myself and I kind of, take things personally that I shouldn't be taking personally.
Okay. Like... You believe certain things about yourself.
Yeah, they're not necessarily true. Like,
okay,
I shouldn't.
Or could that be like assumptions then, or don't make assumptions?
It's kind of both, I guess.
Okay,
it's like I made an assumption, but then that assumption became about myself.
Okay,
it's kind of what it is.
Okay, I see. So I guess maybe don't take anything personally, and
like both.
Both. Okay. That's interesting. Me, if I did have to pick one, I think it would be the first one, the be impeccable with your word. Because I just think our word is the biggest weapon that we have. Okay. Another example that he gives, and, if someone is watching us and you know who you are, is he gave the example of Hitler.
Oh, okay.
And he said, you see how Hitler used his word? The way he convinced the millions of people to do such horrific things to this different race of people because they had this certain projection and fear of those people. Hitler was the biggest person who used black magic literally on people and like cast a spell on everyone, and everyone kind of became like, yes, my master, and they just followed him through without even thinking what they were doing. So
it's kind of like a cult if you think about it.
It was, right?
Yeah, just kind of, that's the vibe I get.
Just very cultish, very like just what do you say, like the leader, like they were they were like worshiping, like
Yeah.
worshiping their leader. Nazis, they were just like a cult, really. But yeah, he shows how deadly it can be, someone's word. He says it's not the atomic bomb, it's not guns, it's your word. How do you speak? What do you say? What sort of nonsense do you spew? Because just with that, I don't need to have a bomb. I could just say something and then convince millions of people to follow me into war.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Your words are powerful, and I feel like, it's hard to kind of pick one of these because I feel like they all kind of tie in to one another.
Yeah, I know. The last one is kind of like, just do your best as in.
Yeah, maybe the last one kind of, it's maybe a standalone one.
Yeah.
But I still think the other ones are still pretty interconnected a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, because being impeccable with your word, I guess you wouldn't. But that's why I picked the first one, because when you're impeccable, you wouldn't assume as well.
Yeah.
Because that's not being impeccable with your word, and not taking things personally. I mean, maybe not taking things personally is more standalone. I would say.
Okay.
Yes. Because when you're impeccable with your word, you're doing your best, and you're also not assuming. So you're doing three things, 3 birds with 1 stone kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas the not taking personally, it's not really related with your speech. It's more just what the others say and how you interpret that.
Perceive, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's maybe true. But I guess, these are all up for interpretation, for sure. What the author, writes in his book, you could perceive it a certain way, and he could portray it a certain way as well.
True.
And I think he just wants to give out the information, and you take it for what it is. And I think they're really good points, all of them.
He says that whatever he presents is also just another form of dream that you're creating in your mind, right?
Exactly.
But he says with these 4 agreements, you're creating a dream where you're living in heaven, okay? And this is the idea that I believe in, heaven and hell. I don't believe it as, being in the sky or, down underground. He says it's here,
Yeah.
You could live in hell, I could live in heaven. Even if we're in the same space. I could be in bliss and you could be in fear and sadness.
Yeah, I think it's dependent on the situation you're in, right?
And how you perceive that situation. So, and maybe last question. Can people live just by these 4 rules, or do you think they're too simplistic?
I think they're pretty good principles, like on the broad level. Yeah. And then maybe you could have like subsections of those kind of thing that you make up for yourself.
Okay. I agree. Yes, they are very broad, as you said. But I just think, they're like life principles where there can be like these starting points for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Where if you have these down, then go ahead and live your life, there's things about for your health, for your finance, for your relationships, for, these different aspects of your life. But if you have these pillars down, then any of those things that you venture into, you wouldn't suffer and feel, bad and live in hell.
Yeah, I think it's a really good starting point for anyone, maybe struggling with some of these concepts. Maybe read the book. Maybe I'll read it too.
Sure, yeah. Very simple, very easy to read. I actually reread this.
That's why I saw it on your.
Oh, you said. Yeah, today when you were like looking around, you saw it, and then I took it away.
No, I don't know if you realized. I didn't realize.
Oh, you did it? Okay, I quickly took it away because I didn't want you to see the topic of today. But I reread this like last 3 days. Took me like 3 hours, really quick.
Okay, so it's a fast read.
Yeah, it's a fast read. It's like 130 pages, not long. But I would definitely recommend anyone to read this. But anything else to add? Any last words?
No, I think it sums it up pretty well. Really good, starting points, like you said, for just living your everyday life. But maybe don't be afraid to create like little, subsections of those and make your own reality, your own dream.
Basically, yeah. But he wants to just help you have a dream where you're in heaven and not in hell. That's what he wants you to do. Because if you don't follow one of these, you are gonna, have suffering.
You're gonna suffer, yeah.
Yeah. So I agree with that.
Yeah, same.
But anyway, so thank you guys for watching or listening to this episode. We release an episode every single week, or try to, as best. We do our best.
There you go.
There you go, right? So, if we don't release a week, it's okay. We did our best. We didn't have a topic that week.
You guys might be sad, but...
yeah, but don't take it personally. There you go.
There you go.
Tying all these agreements again. But yeah, anyways, you can watch us on YouTube. If you do, comment, leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more. We release, on all the biggest streaming platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher. And we will see you guys next time.
Yep. All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Catch you guys on the next one.